Live studio creationation and awful pajamas because that's what I do every single week. Welcome to the Musical Show, the show where I blabber on about music for too bloody long and show that I have zero fashion sense. Oh well, let's go. Great. Right. Gonna start this off pretty quickly because I've got a lot to talk about. Eurovision is obviously on throughout this week. Maybe next week I'll give my short little opinions on every song. I'll only go very quickly because there's so bloody many. But all I'm gonna say is that Malta were robbed in the first semi-final. And also Moldova's is the best, as it is every year. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 albums to go through. So I think I need to go through them pretty damn soon. So I'm going to start now with Destroy Lonely's If Looks Could Kill. Boring. I could just end it here if I want to, but I'm going to go more in depth. Every song doesn't do anything interesting whatsoever, and they also go on for too goddamn long, and there's too many of them. In what universe do we need a 26-track long, 1 hour and 25 minutes, something like that, Destroy Lonely album? None. Safety Interlude was decent, and there was the odd decent song, but there's 26 songs, there's going to be something somewhere. But it was unbearable to get through all of the trash. Awful. Lone just sucks. 2.5 out of 10. Next up is that Zell guy who's on SoundCloud and who I follow on TikTok. Taking a break from posting on TikTok, so I'm not gonna ask plugging it here. With them Fish Tank, which was fine. Some great ideas on this thing. And Aquarium does show potential, especially in the second half, but it isn't particularly melodic, and there's just something very, very mediocre about it. And a lot of it didn't have any substance, and therefore the 3 minutes felt like too much that it lasted for. 5.6 out of 10. Next up is DC the Don. You may realise that I'm going through this quickly, but after there's 13, we've still got 11 to go. With Funeral. Production-wise, while predictable in parts, and also being trash rage in parts, it was mostly great, but his voice just is really annoying, and yeah. And some flows sounded a bit But it was good, and it was actually interesting. Something that... seeing interesting albums in rap and trap and all that is something you very rarely see, so I've got to praise him for that. 6 out of 10. Next up is Ed Sheeran with Subtract. It's alright. I mean, it's not amazing, and it is boring and corny in parts, as every Ed Sheeran album is, but he does kind of do some interesting things here. A lot of it still has a bit of radio in it, come on. Just dancing with my eyes closed. But I don't think I'll ever hear The Hills of Aberfeldy on a radio station anytime soon. They'll try their best, but they won't succeed. Don't know why I felt the need to do that, but I did. So yeah, decent, big step up from Eagles, which was terrible. 6.3 out of 10. Next up is with Real Raw, which is really fun. Some really good beats, and his voice fits perfectly with pretty much all of them. And he's pretty much the perfect rage artist in a way. There's some duds, and he is playing a really safe with how short the track is. He just seems to aim for just banger after banger after banger, which is fair enough. It's rage after all. That's kind of what they try to do anyway. But it's a good start, and giving it to rage is actually really good for that standard. Just get a new producer tag, because here in Chile, is so goddamn annoying every single song. It's just annoying and bad producer tag. 6.7 out of 10. Next up, we've got the Armani White Road to Casablanca shit, which had a lot of things that, I was impressed by. The beats are actually pretty unique in some songs, and there were some casual bangers, showing that he can make some bangers, and he can also make songs that are different. A quality seen in very few trap artists. This guy does actually have potential. TikTok found a good one. Every single feature here added something to the song, whether it was just being good in every way, or just having such good delivery like Denzel did on Goated. Wouldn't have been a great verse if he had a boring delivery. and it definitely improved the song. Because while the beat was okay, it was a bit meh. And yeah, there was the odd meh moment in terms of lyrics and beat and all that, and putting a remix of Billie Eilish with Ludacris on just didn't make any sense. It was completely lazy. I don't get why people put remixes on their albums of a song that's already on the album, because I don't know, it wastes time and it's dumb and it's lazy and it's bad. But I know why. It's to put the streams up. It's to make more money and do that and shit. But yeah, didn't even know Ludacris was still going, so that was a nice surprise in a way. But yeah, it was decent and it does show potential. He's already got a big track to his name, but he could be one of those absolutely huge artists. He deserves to be more than 99% of them. 7.2 out of 10. I need to fart. I just farted. You could probably hear it. Oh well. I don't care. Next up is Monica Lil with Kodel Chucha, who caught my eye with one of my favourite songs in Eurovision last year. Sentimente might have even been my favourite. I'm not 100%. I doubt it was, but it's up there. For some reason, there was an 8-minute version of it here, though. And it just added in a lot of instrumental. And, like, it was fine. It didn't take anything away from the song. But, like, at the same time, it was a bit unneeded. But, you know, there were some beautiful tracks here, such as the title track, Adele Chuchia, and even some sort of, like, bangers, I guess. With Champanas, Bull Bull Bull, Bull 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 Bull, Bull 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 Bull. But, there is also a different version of that track on this album. Again, remix, different version. Like, it's lazy. Amongst this, there were a dud or two. And even they weren't bad, they were just a bit mid. Overall, it's flawed quite heavily, but it's good. It's good. 7.2 out of 10. Better than the Sam Ryder album last year. Around the 6 I've got that. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't as good as that one. Next up, we've got Subtract with The Rat Road, which had some good ideas, solid features, and decent production and instrumentals. However, just using that one Drake one was a bit lazy in my eyes, and some songs were unneeded. And it was 22 tracks long, and there was also a bit too many interludes and bits of the album that just felt, again, why? There was no need. Also, Tizu Touchdown can't sing. We learned that from his 2 features here. And in the end, this album did feel like a bit of a slog considering how long it is, which is understandable, I suppose, because no album needs 22 songs, even if 10 of them are interludes. Overall, great, but just take away maybe 7 songs and you'll have a great instead of just a great. You know what I mean? It's great, but it's not a great. Yeah, you get the gist of it, and you'll get the gist when I give it a 7.3 out of 10. I need to fart again, and I just did fart again. I don't know why I'm telling you this every single time. I should probably just take a shit, but I'm going to do this after I finish filming. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I know I just said that 5 seconds ago, but I still don't know. Billy Woods and Kenny Seagal with Maps. I did get overexcited a little bit. I think while it does have fantastic songs and some great beats, the rapping and flows were a bit too experimental and offbeat for me in my eyes. In parts of the beats, sometimes just sounded like something that I've kind of heard before. Doesn't mean any song ended up being bad, so there was always enough highlights in the song for it to end up not being bad. And there are songs that were just amazing, but it was more just like a collection of good, great, decent enough songs, sort of like that. And there weren't like a group of amazing, great songs, if you know what I mean. I'm using great too much. 7.9 out of 10. Next up, we've got Conway the Machine with Won't You Do It. He actually kind of experimented with different sounds, including trap towards the end, which was actually kind of interesting, because usually Conway stays quite relatively in his comfort zone. It did have a few normal Conway style songs, which, while good, didn't seem like anything special, because that's what they always seem like. However, not every experiment worked, and some songs really overstayed their welcome and felt boring. Didn't do anything to make me not want to fall asleep, like a beat switch or something. Amongst this, there was a couple of tracks where Conway didn't even sound like he was trying. He was just like slogging through, like, I'm rapping and shit. Basically what it sounded like, kind of lazy, if you know what I mean, and be like, can I stop now? Can this beat end? Why did I make this song so goddamn long? And as the album got slowly more boring, especially towards the end before the trap song sort of woke me up again, I just sort of was thinking whatever and didn't really notice his flow. So I can't really comment whether it was whether he continued with the sort of lazy flow. But yeah, Interlude really mid as well. However, still had great songs and fantastic features which saved the album from being a pretty damn poor effort. Ends up being great despite the overwhelming amount of flaws, which is pretty damn impressive and shows his quality when he's on it. Again, another one of those where the duds are more good and like decent instead of just bad. 8.1 out of 10. Next up, we've got Panchico with Failed at Maths. Oh, I forgot to mention, I've also reviewed like 2 or 3 albums that I didn't even mention last week, so that's why there's been a few surprises, such as the Monica Lou one. It was great, but far from as good as it could have been. After 20 years away, it does feel like they have lost their charm a little bit, and some tracks almost conform to more like mainstream ideas, which is not something Panchico are known for, and did on death metal. Although Failed at Maths was a really good song, and on par with some of their old shit. But yeah, that was still a shame. But had some amazing songs either way, and still banged. Yeah, just wasn't as amazing and groundbreaking as it could have been, I guess. 8.4 out of 10. Next up, we've got Brian Eno and Fred again with Secret Life. And I like ambient music too much. I might be a bit too biased here and I might need to get a bit harsher, but I really enjoyed this. In ambient music, you can't find flaws very often. Because, like, if it makes you want to go to sleep, yeah. If it's good for the background, yeah, that's kind of the point. There were bits that just got boring, though. And there were things that I thought, ooh, that just doesn't work. But they were very few and far between in my eyes. I've seen a lot of people not really like it, but I really like this. And I do admire Fred again. For despite his sort of, like, more EDM-ish sound, usually, and, like, sound in that sort of area of electronic music, or trying it out with Brian Eno with some ambient shit. I know he probably already knew how to do it, because I'm pretty sure, like, Brian Eno helped him, like, become who he is now and shit. But, yeah, still. Either way, great album, but, yeah. Had the odd flaw here and there. 8.9 out of 10. But at the top is actually IDK's F65, which really surprised me. One of the best trap albums, to be honest, I've ever heard. With fantastic beats and actually solid enough features. The beat switch on 850 way on top might actually be the best moment in music I've heard all year. Unbelievable song. And it has Rich the Kid in, which is its own kind of like impressive. Shows pretty much the best of every area he explored in. And I rarely give 9s away, you may have noticed, but this, I can look at this and think this does deserve it. So I'm happy to give this a 9.2 out of 10, which is what I just gave it. 13 albums. How many albums will I listen to this week though? A grand total of 3, but I will shout out 2 other ones. First off, Celine Dion with a soundtrack album to Love Again, If You Really Care, which, why would you? 14 songs, 56 minutes long if you want, but I don't know why you'd want to. And also, Chavo's Will 3 by Chavo and Pierre Bourne, featuring V's, and that's it. And Pierre Bourne does rap on one of the tracks, but he's mainly just like producing and shit. So if you want to hear that 17 songs, 44 minutes long, go for it. But it's Chavo's Will 3, and you know what I'm like with sort of like albums in the middle of a series. If I have an excuse not to listen to an album, then I'm gonna use it, because like you don't want to listen to 13 albums every week. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is a good excuse considering how many of you know who Chavo is. Probably none of you. You might know Pierre, because you might be like a Carti fan or something, but like, and also I've mentioned him previously. But you're not going to know Chavo. I'd never heard of him until I saw this this morning. I saw that I didn't have to listen to it with the rules I made. And yeah, I also don't have to listen to soundtrack albums, because that's just dumb. Who the fuck wants to waste their time with soundtrack albums? So yeah, shout out those 2, but let's go to the 3 I'm actually listening to. And I'm not even going to bother with expectations, because I've already listened to 2 of them. The one I haven't listened to is NBA Youngboy. Oh yeah, him again. This is the 3rd release of the year. Mixtape Richest Op. featuring 17 songs, 49 minutes long. It's probably going to be yet another Youngboy album. Youngboy tape. That sounds like every other Youngboy tape. And it's going to end up being a 4 or a 5, like Youngboy tapes always are. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be more of a 4. And if anything's from YB is going to be a 2 or a 3, it could be this. Because a lot of the time, a corny song title shows that the song is also corny. And here you've got Slimes Go Where I Go, and I shot Cupid with a Q. Yeah. Q-U-P-I-D instead of C-U-P-I-D. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to that one particularly. Soulja Boy I've already listened to. Soldier Season. 10 songs, 24 minutes long, featuring 2 G Dollar Lil Ronnie features. I would be very surprised if any of you really feel like listening to this, because who actually likes Soulja Boy? Yeah. I think I've sort of kind of revealed what I think about the album. I might as well not dwell on it. It's bad. It's bad. It sucks. How much it sucks, you'll find out next week. As I said, I'm not posting on TikTok, so you can't even follow my TikTok and find it that way. Although I might put it on my story. Music Review, at Music Review 69, yeah. Jonas Brothers, finally, with The Album, which I've also listened to. And it sounds like a Jonas Brothers album. So, if that's good music or bad music to you, it's really going to depend on whether you're going to like it or not. It's sort of like just pop with the lightest, featheriest tinge of country. So, yeah, from 13 albums to just 3. I love it. It's a chill week, it's an easy week. I'm going to have them all finished by tonight. And I can just chill, it's a vibe then. As I said, I only listen to albums once, otherwise how the hell would I review 13 albums? And also, I would not want to listen to the Detroit Lonely album more than once. So, yeah. And, like, if I really like it, then that's when I'm going to re-listen to it. That's how I'm going to know what albums I want to re-listen to. If I, think from the face and, yeah, this is good. You sort of know whether you like the album or not on first listen. Sometimes you exaggerate your opinions slightly. I exaggerated on Jackman, but I can just go back to it and re-review it, so it's fine. And I probably will do that, actually, at some point in the near future. So, yeah. 3 albums, it's nice and chill. I like listening to music, but, listening to 13 albums every week would be a pain. But 3 I can do pretty damn easily in a day. I think I listened to 5 or 6 albums in a single day once. That's my record, so yeah. It's not very hard for me to do shit like that. So yeah, I hope you're going to enjoy the Eurovision final tomorrow. If you're watching it, I'll be watching it. So yeah, I might give a brief overview of all the songs. Obviously very brief, otherwise we'll be here all day, because there's over 30 of them, including the ones that got eliminated in the semis that I've already kind of mentioned. But yeah. Thank you very much for watching. I'm definitely not going to put graphics of what I'm going to rate all of them, because that would also take forever to edit. But yeah, enough of that. Thanks for watching. I should probably stop, because I really need a shit. So I'm going to have a shit. See ya.